I think we hit the 20 mark. So I will be starting out with a couple of quotes. This guy, I actually knew it was an old Chinese proverb of the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I didn't really know this guy though, but that's okay. And what it actually kind of what he's referring to back then, 2000 before Christ or whatever, was that even the longest journey starts with a single step. And we need to already then be able, prepared to take that step. And we need to know where we're going, where we're heading. We might not really know the target, but we know at least the direction of it. So there's a lot of profoundness in that proverb. And now we have another great thinker, Mr. Warren Buffett, and he's doing all right in life. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing, and I concur with that. We, when we don't know really what, we lack of knowledge. That is really when we can't control our processes going onwards. That's really when we know we're going to be struggling, and that is the risky situation. And let's avoid that. We have another great thinker. SAP Signavio Transformation Suite is the map and the compass of our North Star to accelerate the business transformation. And that's me. My name is Robert Moberg. I am I'm here in capacity of being a solution advisor at SAP, specifically SAP Signavio business unit, line of business. I will be talking to you today about transformation, how it passes by, the risks that I am preaching for the choir. I know you guys know all about these and the risks that we're doing, but I also have a remedy or I have a suggested way forward. I do have a hidden agenda there. And I will end this with a very short, kind of superficial, but yet a demo. And so if there are any questions as we go along, please don't hesitate. We're an intimate crowd and we're among friends, so let me know and I'll try to respond to them. And if I can't, let's save it until afterwards or maybe interaction at a later stage. So transforming towards agile, sustainable, and resilient enterprise. These again are the things that we're all struggling with, even SAP. We do want to be agile, and being agile really means that we need to be able to understand how we could move about, what are the risks, how to navigate this, what is the end game, what are the obstacles that will come along, how can we get buy-in from our management, being agile. We also need to know the supply chain resilience, and that supply chain resilience really comes down to what Mr. Buffett is talking about. What are the things that we don't know out there, and how could we handle the things that we know, the risks that we can foresee, and also the risks that we can't foresee. What risk management would we have? When the next COVID-25 comes about or whatever it would be, how can we deal with that? How can we take action or be preemptive in that way? And then we all want to be sustainable. We all want to fill in, or achieve the government regulations, the internal company policies when it comes to sustainability and whatnot. And there again is a lot of actions that need to be, compliance. You need to be compliant with all of these, right? And that also comes with something that we need to address down the road. But again, transformation is not easy. We know this. It's painful at times, and all of the companies, well, not all maybe, but most of the companies struggle with the how. We need to get the decision. Here it says get a decision, but I'm saying that we need to get the decision, the right decision out there. And how can we set up and literally articulate our transformation objectives? How can we know what we have, the as-is situation that we have today, which is good? We can actually carry along that, which is target or subject to be changed, right? And how can we make sure that we have this, whatever we find out, that we get the transparency throughout the organization all the way to the top management, right? We need to be able to, the how is we need to be able to execute successfully. We need to be able to prioritize the resources that we have, and the resources, they are scarce always. We need more money, we need more time and more heads, right? And we need to be able to distribute these and use them as effectively as possible. How can we avoid surprises? And again, there are surprises that we know or we can mitigate, so we see them possibly happening, and then there are surprises that we really, who could have figured that one out? So we need to be able to do that. And then again, here as well, we could start working with the change management. How could we make sure that this flows through to our organization? That actually bullet probably goes through the last two ones. Secure agility and smooth operations is also part of that, making sure that everybody knows where to go, having the adoption down, and also avoiding disruptions in the process transformation project. Again, as I said, I have remedy for this. This is the way, so say, my provocative slide. What if you could be quicker in the path of transformation? What if we could know already beforehand, so say, which is the way that we're going to be aiming to? How can we articulate the target of our transformation? We need to be having a safer path, which means that we need to be confident and we need to mitigate or minimize the risk of our transformation project. And we also need to be able to do a smoother path to continuous value, which means that we need to, once we're done with the transformation, we also need to kind of get a continuous improvement on that. Was there a question in the back? No. So this is Signavio transformation, process transformation suite. For how many of you in this room is this a novelty totally? You all ran about it somewhere, you saw a demo of it some way, right? The stuff on the right hand side is all the modules. It's kind of boring to talk about the details in the suite. I'll address it vaguely on the next slide. But I think that on the left hand side we have the capabilities, and those are that's really the value. That's where the value is, right? So Signavio's grounded or founded as a company back in 2009, and it was founded as a university project. And the question the project wanted to resolve was, why do transformation projects fail so often? And the answer was that the problem is that our companies out there doing the transformation projects, they are working out of scarce or different platforms, different realities. So what we need, this is 2009, already then this wording was old. We need one version of the truth, right? But one version of the truth here in this context also means that we need to have the collaboration capability. We need to be working not only with one version of the data truth, but also with one version of the platform truth. So when I go in the collaboration, you'll see it soon, how it looks like. And when I go in there, this is my platform. This is where I access all my BPM processes. This is where I do my analysis, and everybody working in the same company or in the same entity will be using that one. Process analysis and mining, we might not talk about that much because that's what the demo is going to deal about. But also, of course, here we have the capabilities of doing analysis, process analysis, and also process analysis that are, so say, deployable and actionable and data-driven. Of course. We do the process modeling. Process modeling is literally where we kind of draw, little boxes, which is actually the processes going onwards. Do this, then that, and at the end of the day, this is what you should have done. That is the process modeling. And then we have a quite important one, the process governance and automation, which is literally putting this to action. The process governance is the process for processes. Could we call that the meta processes? And automation, yeah, we'll see more about that as well. And then as a quite a good important flavor of this, what we're doing with our analysis tools is that we're kind of getting a picture of the as is, and also what the as is will do, with a set of recommendations, will actually suggest what would be the to be, or even the target. What is going to be our company's best way of doing it? And that is good, that's what we want to achieve. But what we have here in the value accelerators is actually the best practice from SAP. So this is where we actually have the capability of bringing on inspiration from what SAP customers have been doing in this specific area, also industry relative, right? So we're able to kind of have our vision, our assets, our vision, and then compare it with the SAP way. So in a nutshell, we do understand, we get the as-is picture in the analysis pieces. This is the topic of the demo. We put this to work, improve our process landscape in the modeling pieces, and then we put this to work in the governance and automation pieces. Mind you, the automation part is, of course, in our suggestion. There could be other ways, non-SAP ways, but it's literally putting this to work in BTP. So I think the next slide is demo. So what I'm demoing today is what we call it's an initiative. It's not an SKU, but it's plug and gain. And plug and gain composes of two different products. So the process insights, SAP Signavio process insight, and SAP Signavio process intelligence. Process insights you'll see it soon. It's a dashboard, and that dashboard kind of gives us a daily updated view on how the processes are doing. It's rigid, it's what you see, it's what you get. You can't change it. It kind of comes that way, right? Process intelligence, on the other hand, gives us the capability of doing whatever analysis we really want to do. So we could actually produce a KPI based on whatever. We could produce a recommendation. We can, set thresholds for those, and getting visuals in any way we want to. It's also has a programming language behind it. So if you're kind of keen coder, this is a place where you have the degrees of freedom of doing whatever you want to. What we're seeing here is kind of the middle thing, because we have the process insights and the process insights with predefined dashboards in process intelligence, which means that no, it doesn't go for an afternoon to deploy like process insight does, but on the other hand, within a week or two at the most. So what we see is the starting page of the collaboration hub. This is our process house. We got a metric up here. The overall best run score is 67. Is that good or is it bad? Well, it's amber, so we think that we could actually improve it. The threshold for being green is 80%, and it's literally a measurement of how we're doing with regards to automation. Today we will be looking into source to pay. So I go down to this one, and then I get into the source to pay landing page. It's really small on my screen. Can you see better? I'm working out of a Mac for the first time in my life. So let's move over here to this one. You see there are, so to say, these values down here, and these are kind of retrieving data right from the process intelligence, delivering these best run scores back. We're going to be looking into the process flow of supplier payment from purchasing, and the first step of that would be looking into the process insights. Like in a typical cooking show, I did some preparation and have this opened right here. So this is the supplier invoice issuing with purchase order for accounts payables clearing. What we see here in this dashboard is that we have 14,510 documents. There are 4 blockers. We don't see the blockers yet. I'll show them soon. We have 95% completion rate. That's fairly good, I'd say. That means that not many documents actually are so to say, going dead on the way. It takes 5 days to go from supplier invoices issued to supplier invoices created and posted, and average takes 5 days, and there in between there's no droppage, so that's good. Let's look at this one, most frequent blockers and other information. Then this information falls below. So here we have 4 colors: green, good; amber, orange, not so good; and then red, do something is happening here. And then we got the blue, which is more of a neutral warning. The system senses that there's something going on here, but is it a good or bad thing? I don't know really, but please beware. Today we're going to be looking into the improvement opportunity of avoid late payments. This is what we want to do, of course. And we see here these ones are highlighted. We're doing good in supplier invoices currently parked, accounts payable items, that's good. But here, this one is amber, 5%. But let's see over here. Yeah, this one, red. Accounts payable items cleared after net due date. So 24% is perceived a very high number. So if we click on this one, we get the capability of doing some internal benchmarking. And here I'm going to do some benchmarking on company code. And we see that the average is 24. With these guys, BB4A, they're doing fine. They're at 16%, still not fine because, remember the threshold is below 8 or something to be amber, but all right. They're doing good in class, at least. These guys, they should learn from the others to how to do it. And this is actually a case where a colleague of mine ran into just totally recently. A Danish company was doing this analysis and identified that the automation rate of doing this, again, given chore in Denmark compared to Sweden, was totally different. So the Swedish entity did things much more efficiently and better, and the Danish did not. Right. So here there's a kind of an explorative analysis to be worked out. What in essence are they actually doing differently, and that way they can kind of share the conclusions. So this is the way that we would be working with this. I'm also want to show you once we're in here the KPIs that we have. So here are the performance indicators, and we have them all designed down to what's relevant for the topic of conversation now. I'm going to be looking into the purchase order items created. We have an automation rate of 2%, which is pretty low, to be honest. What we see here is that, remember, we just now had the internal benchmarking, but here we have the industry benchmarking. So I get the value up there with 2% being compared with industry peers, right? So you guys, Mr. Customer, are seeing values at 2%, which is quite low, even in the lowest quartile. And we think that there are some low-hanging fruit for you guys out here. Let's go into the recommendations. And here we have a correction recommendation, which is there's only one, but we're happy because that one has high impact and low effort. So let's look into that one. In this case, we have the capability of training users. So this is a change management effort that would be needed. We should be able to look into the way our associates are actually working with this. We have also, of course, a couple of innovation recommendations, and the innovation recommendations, the correction recommendations, they're pragmatic by design. They have a shorter horizon. They are, even I can understand what actually happens there, when you do it. The innovation recommendations are, as the name implies, they are a bit more sophisticated by design. They have a longer horizon and might also need a bit of a higher effort. So there are 4 of them. There's one that's intelligent, which is literally applying some AI scenarios, but also we have this procurement overview page, which is then applying some Fiori apps to this. And if we kind of plow through this information and learn from this, we would probably have some low-hanging fruit to mitigate this low KPI of 2%. So what we're getting out of this is literally then, let's see if I can get back to where I was, a good understanding on how are we doing today? What is that situation of assays? How can we improve the assays to a decent 2B? And then we're going over to the more, wider analytical picture on this. What we're seeing now is the process flow as it is. Again, the details are way too small to read, but it's a payment, supply payment there. So someone needs something over here, and over here someone pays the invoice. Let's simplify it. The green ones are the happy paths. The green ones have a higher degree of automation. Let's see if zooming works here for me. So create invoice via evaluated receipt settlement, create invoice via there. So that's why I do it. And if we look at this one, create invoice. So there's a certain degree of automation to it. Now, the red one here is the unhappy path, or the sad path, if you will. So it is by using a dialogue user. So that is not a good one. And then we can also see, this kind of thinking of red and green, bad and good paths kind of flow through all the way. So what we don't want to do now is literally having a greater understanding. So we know now what good looks like. Let's see, do we comply with good? Sorry, I'm coming back to the wrong page all the time. I'm never going to get myself a Mac. So here what we're going to see is the process execution, what it is, and again, it's very, very small, but literally if we kind of zoom in on this one, we can see that creating a purchase order takes 6 weeks. How about that, right? But this one, create an invoice online via dialog user, that one takes 1 week for coming from that step. And if you do it in any of the other ways, which are the green ones surrounding it, we're doing it quicker. So the work that would kind of follow this, if we do it kind of properly, is literally following down this process flow and see where are the thick lines, because the thick lines are indicating a higher cycle time for the process onwards. So it's an explorative work to get a deeper understanding. Also, we have here some best run scores for different steps, and we're seeing them very, very high. Why are they high? Because we see the picture that comes down here. Remember this one in the beginning here, this one in the middle, that's the unhappy path, right? That's the stupid path. The other ones are the ones that are doing good, and this one, which is on the top there, is actually most of the documents that we're going through. So we are doing fine in this area. I still think that there's some potential to develop this. Let's look into the process variant analysis. And the process variance literally kind of gives the same picture. So we're seeing that we're really going up in this path in most of the cases. This is the third most useful one, and then the top one, we're seeing we're not going down there, but we're going there, which is this is still good. If you're looking at number 5, yeah, those are the ones that are actually the path to avoid. So what I want to do now is actually go further deep. There's a lot of information here that I'm not really talking about with respect to time, but what I want to do here is then choose the top 3 variants, and then I'm going to go and create a oh my god, so yeah, that's a pop-up blocker. What really comes out now in the cool world is that I create a BPMN diagram singled out to correspond to these 3 variant paths that I have now chosen. On my computer, this works just fine. Which one? In the others? In the address bar? There. Oh. Okay. Hey, there you go. Thank you. So this is literally then the process flow for the steps that we now have singled out as being the chosen part. And I don't think that there's, we're not going to be working with this one. But on the other hand, what we will do is going to be working with this one as an inspiration, as a starting point to build our process diagram for this procurement process. I am closing up on the end. I will just show you one more thingy that I appreciate. As I said, we get this, I'm kind of stressing this. I'm sorry to be so selly or pushy. It's not my intention. But what I'm saying is that this report as it is, it kind of comes out of the box with the process insights being the data, and the dashboards also created in process intelligence is literally the outcome. So if you say let's go with this, if it's what is it today, Tuesday, right? So by end of next week we'll have this, right? And it will read the data from ECC or S4. But anyway, if we wanna work with this further, and here's where I'm coming back to my thinking or explanation, that what we have here is literally a eternal degrees of freedom analytics platform. So we can work with these and create the metrics that we appreciate to build the dashboard, the information, the thresholds, the recommendations that we really wanted. In this case, what we're seeing here is out of the box, we get a supplier invoices issued before purchase order, 3% good on that one. We like that. On the other hand, here we see supplier invoices created by dialog users, given the data that we now have chosen, is way high. So we should be looking into that one. Right. So as the end game of this, I will be just giving you a call to action. And it's this. I think that you probably will have these slides in hindsight, and you will be able to work, look at them, read them, and look into this one. We have something that's called SAP Signavio Process Insights Discovery Edition, and it's actually something that is free of charge. Previously, you might have been working with discovery reports or spotlight reports. This is the one that actually comes after that, right? So it is a full process insights instance, but it has only one process flow, right? So it's a great tool, and there's a few to choose from. So you're not deemed to use only that one, but you can only do it once per year, and it's free of charge. And when you do, call me, and I'll be glad to give you the guidance to walk you through it. So what we've been looking into today is how could we prepare for our long journey? How could we know when to take the first step, and where should that step go? We also know that not to say failing to plan is planning to fail. And what Mr. Buffett is saying up here is really, if we know what we don't know, then we can take that into account. And yes, Signavio Transformation Suite is the map and the compass for successful business transformation. Any apparent questions? Please. Yes. 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 It's says that, but yes, S4 as well. Yes. So I know this is also a kind of distinction that we need to make, because process insights. I'm sorry, I'm tossing these brand names or product names around, but it's literally the kind of the starting point in this journey, and the process insights has this prerequisite that it only works out of SAP environment, ECC 6 and later, and S4. But on the other hand, process intelligence, the analytical, the process mining pieces, there you can bring in whatever you want to, literally, other ECCs or Ariba data or success factors data or whatnot, and even non-SAP platform. Actually, quite a lot of our customers use that not to analyze specifically SAP data, but other data. So I will be here at least for the beginning of the mingle. I'm happy to see so many of you. Me being the only thing that stands between you and the drinks. But let me know if there's anything. I'll be around for a couple of minutes at least. Thank you.